Hey guys, today I'm going to take you on a step-by-step journey to show you exactly how you can make the best photo templates for your ornaments based on research that you are so proud of and you're confident that yours are the best in the market. After we go through all of the research, I will show you these mockups that I've come up with based on my research, and you will be equipped to create your own set of mockups that are going to stand apart from what other people have already done in the market. Okay, let's start out with the mindset behind your photo templates. And I use the word mockups and photo templates interchangeably, so you'll notice that. My photo templates will address each question that my customer will have. They will speak their language. So your photo templates and everything that's written in your description are one and the same, but your photo templates are going to do it in a more aesthetic way. They're going to give the customer bite-sized information. It's not going to be super heavy with paragraph and text. People don't want to read pages of text, which is why I put this in front of you. Just kidding. They want to be taken through a shopping experience where they can shop while they see pieces of information. So we're going to stay away from being text heavy while addressing each question they may have, and I'll show you how to do that. You're going to take what's working and then craft it together in a style that's better than anyone else's. Warning, do not just use a couple shops as inspiration to create yours. This is a shortcut. This is not ideal. You want to not have any doubt in your mind that you are addressing every issue the customer could be thinking of. And there's a certain way that we do that. We go through reviews and we document the customer language, and we pull out the hot and cold points. We pull out the customer language. We use all of that to create the pages that are then going to make up your photo templates. You are going to use a couple shops as inspiration for your theme, but with that being said, yours are still going to be better because you are putting more information into the photo templates than they did. Make sure you've done the research so you're confident that you are hitting each piece of information necessary to hit a home run. So when you're done with this process, there should be no doubt in your mind that you are addressing every aspect that your customers could think of. You should feel so confident in your photo templates because you did the research. This is also where Lauren and Connor talk about being a leader instead of a follower, and it's so important. You don't just want to grab a couple shops and copy what they're doing. This will equip you with every product moving forward. You can use these steps for any product that you launch into. Okay, so we're breaking this up into two sections. The first section is going to be what are we putting in our photo templates, so the details. And then the second part to the video is going to be the style and theme. So with this first one, we're going to break it up into 5 steps. Number 1, open the top listing from each shop on your list. And what I mean by that is you're going to go over here to your HPP list, and I'm on the one that's filtered that has no duplicates. I'm going to go to the top 5 on my list from a different shop. So this one is Keepsake. This one is Honey Ornaments, Modern Xmas, North Pole Treasures, and Pure Joyful Studio. I'm just going to do 5. You would do it for all of your shops on your list. So you would go down the list, and each shop that's represented, you're going to open up the first one on your list. Number 2, extract hot and cold points and buyer language from the reviews. So with this, you should be going through about, for ornaments, probably 20 or more of these tabs and looking at the customer reviews. And you're just going to start writing them down here with their language. So for example, nice quality, perfectly done. I will just start writing in very small text, lines and lines of this customer language. Customer service was very helpful, easy to order. Okay, I'm just going to keep reading you some. Exactly as pictured, very cute and excited to gift it to a friend. After you've done this, I usually go through 4 to 5 pages on each. If I see something where they're just repeating what someone else said, then I won't write it down. Looks great and came quickly, so I would put that one down. My only complaint is that there are small specks of paint from the detail printing. Also write down your cold points. So if you see people saying anything negative, then write that down, because we can then turn it into a positive. We can ensure them that the print quality is high. So we take whatever cold points they have and we make sure that we address them in a positive way in our photo templates. Customer service was amazing. Shipping was fast. The writing on it is blurry. Okay, so that's another cold point I would write right here. Excellent quality. So I would keep going for 4 to 5 pages, and then I would jump over to the next one and do the same thing. And you would do this for all of the shops on your list. One listing, the top listing from all of the shops on your list. You can also sort over here by lowest rating with the drop down. And this is where you can find all of the cold points, because Etsy is really good about, if someone gives you a bad review, they bury it pretty quickly. It'll be on page like 3 or 4. So if you want to look at all of the low ratings and the issues that they had, then click there. I have not received the ornament. The ornament had the wrong name and date. So our Love It guarantee addresses this. If you have an issue with your ornament, we will replace it. Okay, so you're going to fill up a page, 2 pages of all of this language, and then you are going to categorize them. So you will start to notice that there are categories that people are addressing. Some of them might be the shipping, the customer service, the quality, but it'll be clear in your mind what categories mean the most for the customer. So here is an example of how I categorized mine after I wrote everything down. So let's run through it. This red text where I said review, I'm just noting how I want to display this information in my photo templates. So like for quality and shipping, I'm going to have those on a page for themselves. And then for customer service, it's as pictured and gift worthy. Those are going to be bits of information that I put inside of a review on my photo templates. So the different categories ended up being the customer service. The item was as pictured, the quality, the shipping, and it was gift worthy, or they would recommend it. And by far, quality took up the most space. Okay, let's run down these. Customer service. Customer service helpful. Seller provided excellent customer service. Easy to order. Seller was super responsive. Great quality shop. As pictured, exactly what I wanted, exactly as the photo shows, as described. Quality. Looks great. Excellent quality. Very cute gift. Without error. Better in person. You can read through these. Well made. So the ones that I underlined, this is the language that I chose to pull out to put on my photo templates. Well made, great photo quality, packaged beautifully, colors were vibrant. I want to use that vibrant word. 10 out of 10, not muted, quality craftsmanship, gift worthy or would recommend, perfect gift for, and then they said who they gave it to. My friend loved it and would order again, adorable. She was in tears, very touched. So this gift worthiness, that's so great to include in your review, so it sounds like it's coming from your customer. And then don't forget your cold points. So over here, the cold points broke up into quality, the scale, and the shipping. So the small specks of paint, the writing is blurred, not as pretty as the picture, which I can address that in the review. I could say something about that. The scale, it was smaller than I expected. I saw a couple of these. With the scale issue, I always address that by putting the dimensions, of course, in the photo templates, but then also showing a photo of a hand holding the ornament or holding the cord that the ornament is hanging from. And that really gives them a good idea and how big the ornament is. And then shipping, disappointed that it's late. So you're taking all of this information and you're deciding what is going to be on my photo templates and how am I going to address each of these points that the customer is bringing up. Okay, so once you categorize them, step 4, you're going to list out all the types of pages in those top 20. So what I mean by that is you're going to still have your top 20 opened up here, and you're going to start writing down or cataloging what they have on their pages. And that's what I did over here. So you'll go through here. You might write down a detail about there's a shadow going over the ornament's laying down on the front one, a personalization page, the free gift box with the ornaments inside of gift boxes, frequently asked questions, how to order multiples. And then boom, we're done with that one. We move on to the next one and we see if they have any information, any pages that are different from what we just saw. A variations page. And you see these people have sold so many of these ornaments, and there's a ton of ways that we can do it better than what they are doing, especially if we're taking everyone's information and putting it together in a better way. Free gift box. Okay, so they have a happiness guarantee. That's different than the other one. And they have a sale page. So you're noting all of these over here on your little brainstorm document. Let's see if this shop has anything different. Probably not, because they're owned by the same people as Keepsake. Frequently asked, sale in the box. Okay. We're also noting what their front photo looks like. Is it laying down? Is it standing up? But we'll get to that more when we're looking at the style and the theme. Okay, here's an example. This is 2.7 by 2.9. And look at this hand holding that. That is not 2.7 by 2.9. People are going to think this is going to be bigger than it is when they receive it. So just make sure that you're careful with any AI mockups that you get. Make sure that it looks at scale correct. Okay, nothing new there. Let's see if this shop has anything new. Not really. No. Okay, so I did this with all 20, and these are the ones that I ended up with that are my options to choose from or to combine. Possible listing photo slides. Cannot be personalized or can be personalized. I don't like this one personally because I think it's pretty obvious what can be personalized, and I don't want to have negative language in my reviews, so I'm not going to do that one. I put an X right there. Free gift box and ribbon. I put a plus if I included it. FAQ, things I'm not able to do. I'm going to focus on what I can do, so I'm going to put an X there. How to order multiples with step 1, 2, and 3. We did that. A variations page. We're going to do that. Personalized in the USA. We will include that on a specs page. Happiness guarantee plus a review on that page. We're going to do that. The sale page comes with a gift box. Hand mock-up to show the scale, show the measurements, doing that in a gift box image. Free gift box for each ornament. Ornament box with text on it. Deadlines. So we didn't see that just now when we were going through, but I do want to include deadlines, like they need to order it by whatever date in order to receive it on time. A bulk code discount. I want to do that as well. Here for the features page, I just started writing down a lot of the features I would see. So printed on one side, ceramic, glossy finish, gift box, vibrant graphics, high quality ceramic, woman-owned business, designed and printed in the USA, 3-inch ceramic ornament, high quality sublimation print, free gift box, and ribbon. So I can choose from those. I can combine them, simplify them. Also, if you like to use ChatGPT, you could put all of these in there and say, can you pull out 5 that summarize all of these features? Just be wary, like ChatGPT doesn't know your product as well as you do, but they could give you ideas. Discounts. So discounts is kind of the same as the bulk codes. A reviews page with customer reviews. The language celebrating over however many happy customers. We're going to include that, and then orders shipped the same or next day as a badge and selling point. And we'll get into this when we talk about the badges. Okay, so that was step 4. You're listing out all of the possible pages that you could have, and then you're going to craft your own pages based on all of this information. And this is not going to be perfect as you start it. So for instance, I had a rough draft of what I wanted to be on my pages, and then as I started building them out, it was shifting around a bit. I was able to throw a review on this part, or, I just was reworking it. So don't feel like it's going to be finalized as soon as you write it right here. But this is what I landed on for mine that encompasses all of this information that I wanted to include. Also, side note, inside of ICP with the course from Jesse, he talks about social proof, which is showing your customer that other customers have had a good experience, which could turn out to be a why choose us page with why we're better than the other sellers and how many reviews we have, or even having a reviews page. And then also the love it guarantee, so that people don't feel like they're taking a risk buying your item. So even though those weren't really displayed in the examples, I do want to include those. Okay, let's glance at these as we go through. And we're going to talk about the style and template as well, but just to give you a visual. Page 1 being modern minimal ornament with the shadows and badges, and then there's 2 options for me. Page 2 being the quality and specs page on a blank wall. Personally, I like to have an ornament mock-up on every page. It makes the workload more, but I think it's important for the customer to be able to shop the item that they're looking for while they're reading the information. So they can still see an example right here, and then they can also see the bite-sized information over here instead of just having one page with text on it. Page 3, why choose us? Reviews with all of this information. So here you got, I think it's so vital that you have a photo of a hand holding the ornament. I know this one is made by AI, but I do feel like that scale is correct compared to the hand. These are just stand-ins for where a logo is going to be. Why choose us page, however many reviews you have on Etsy. And if you have multiple shops, I think it's fine for you to combine them with your review count. Fast delivery, speedy replies, love it guarantee. I might change up some of this. I might get rid of speedy replies. I'm not sure yet. How many sales you have on Etsy, crisp graphics. Like crisp graphics should probably go towards the top. Personalized gifts designed and printed in the USA. So just taking some of those features and specs and putting them right there on a why choose us and making it positive language. Like, this is what we can do instead of boom, here's how you can personalize. This is what we can't do. Yeah, so now that I think of it, I think having personalized gift up here would be better. Maybe like personalization and then crisp graphics. So I'm going to reorder that and rework it. Page 4, a free gift box page with an image of the ornament in the gift box and a shipping emphasis. So this came back here to the reviews language. I knew that I wanted to say something else about the shipping, just besides fast shipping. So what I did is on this page, I just pulled out 2 bits of information, so packaged beautifully. That was an example from one of the reviews. Free gift box included, just to remind them again. And then a customer review came quickly. I can't wait to put it on my tree. So that's the shipping emphasis. And I think it looks nice to just pull it in from the side and just have it right there. One review. Love it guarantee on page 5. And again, some people will just put this as a text only page, but it's not that much text, so I just put it next to a photo of an ornament. Love it guarantee. You can also put your shop name up here, guarantee, whatever your shop name is. So like keepsake guarantee. It kind of makes it more personal, and make sure that you put your logo at the bottom of it just as like a sign off, like your stamp of approval. And mine says, we know you'll love your ornament. If anything isn't quite right, just send us a message. We're happy to offer a quick refund or send a replacement to make it right. Your satisfaction means everything to us. So try not to make it too wordy. And I think it's important to break it up by sentence if possible, or a couple sentences, just so that their eye can easily go through it. Page 6, ordering multiples and bulk discount. This page is kind of annoying to me, but I know it's important for customers to know how to order multiples. So I just have the steps that they'll take to order the multiples with a photo of multiple ornaments. And then I set up a code in my shop where if they buy 10 items, they get 60% off instead of 50% off. So I'm just going to throw that in there just in case they want to use that code. I might put it in my announcement or my banner as well. Especially for the home ones or like kid name ornaments, sometimes they will want to buy more. If you have a bulk discount, reviews and Christmas deadlines, I decided to put these two together. And I just rendered the deadlines on an ornament. And I'm not sure if ICP's deadline is December 13th, so I may end up having to change this in the future, but that's okay. All right, for the reviews, these are not real reviews, so that's a little shady, but I just wanted to touch on the buyer language and make sure that I was addressing a lot of what they were talking about in their reviews. So, adorable gift looks just like the photos, vibrant colors, and great turnaround. So, we're talking about the shipping time, the quality. It's just as expected. Exactly what I wanted. The seller made everything easy. Highly recommend the shop. Arrived quickly and the seller was so responsive. I will be ordering again. Now, you don't want them to sound so robotic that a person would not have said that, but you're just taking the sentiment of everyone's feedback, or I mean, you can put your actual reviews on there. If you have been selling for a while and you have reviews that address what was addressed in your research, then definitely pull from those too. And then I'll probably put a logo down here. For your order deadlines, a lot of people also do priority. So if they order priority shipping, then there might be a different deadline. I'm just going with the standard here to display to them. Okay, page 8, a sale and a thank you page. So this is going to be my final page. And then I'm going to have an optional variations page. 50% off limited time sale. Thank you for supporting our family business. So something pretty simple. And a lot of people do this just text only. I think this one is fine with text only, but I just like this semi-transparent look, so I threw it over a mock-up. And then with the variations page, however you choose to do that, which I'll probably do, I might get ICP's mock-ups and then do like 3 or 4 on a neutral background. I'm always going to put that on page 2 or 3. If you're giving the customer font options, design options, make sure as soon as they get into your photo templates, boom, they see the options. Some people don't even scroll through your entire list of photo templates, so don't bank on them doing that. Show them, hey, you can shop my item from the outset. So it'll be like main mockup, and then it would be page 2 or page 3, probably page 2. I don't really like this as being page 2 anyways, so I might move this one. I usually have the specs further back, and this mock-up is like the least aesthetic out of all of them. Yeah, so I might reorder them. But now let's talk about the styling and how I landed on this. Photo template style and theme. You're going to choose 2 or 3 shops from your list that you feel are doing it the best in terms of their styling with the colors they're using, the types of mock-up photos they're using, and their fonts, and open those up, and they're going to be your inspiration. So mine was Keepsake and Honey and Modern Xmas. And you're asking yourself, what are their photos like? What is the aesthetic or the vibe? What colors and fonts are they using? And you can use them as inspiration. You can still put your own twist on it. But already, I have so much information in here that those shops were not even putting in theirs. And so if I pull from some of their fonts or colors, it's not like I'm just straight up copying them, because I've created my own original set of photo templates over here. Okay, so when I pulled up Keepsake and Honey and Modern Xmas, I wrote down some notes. I knew I wanted a front badge, free gift box included. I needed to have that text on it because they did. Ships next day is what they said. So here's a hot point that you have to decide. Do you want your badge to say ships next day? Do you want it to say something else? For the badge, you are pulling out the most valuable piece of information that is going to get them to click on it. And ships next day is a huge value for customers. Personally, I don't do it, even though ICP's production is extremely fast, and 90% of the year they do ship next day, or probably like 95% of the year or more. So you definitely could go that direction. But personally, for me and my VAs around Christmas time, when it's taking 3 days at the peak of the production season, I don't like it when customers come to me and they say, hey, I only bought this because it says ships next day. And so I know I'm losing out on sales because of that. It's kind of like a cost benefit relationship that you have to decide on, because you are going to get more sales if you put ships next day. So that's totally up to you. You want your badge to stand out, but don't overtake your product. You want to make sure it's legible. So we'll walk through that with our badges. I decided that I wanted a minimal logo and a circle with white or transparent, the text being white and it being semi-transparent like Keepsake's is. So this doesn't look semi-transparent, but it is. But here you can see it is over that back. Also, I noticed, so I pull inspiration, I pull screenshots from the shops that I want, that I'm being inspired by. This was for the front photo, and then I threw this in there. But something that surprised me is that none of them were doing Christmas trees. Like this one had Christmas lights behind it. Some of them were laying down and others were hanging. But one thing I noticed was this whole shadow thing. When it has a shadow over it, it really looks more realistic. It looks like they're photographing it themselves. I definitely noted the shadow under it as well. Really makes it jump out. But the aesthetic is kind of minimal, boho, modern. It's not heavy Christmas. It's a lot of muted whites in warm tones, like this sagey green, which is where I pulled this color. I pulled this directly from one of the photos as well. And then this deep blue, no one was really doing it, but I feel like it goes with this vibe that they're doing that I want to pull from. The mock-ups, the front one has a shadow on it, greenery, white, minimal with a blanket. A lot of them had blankets, so consider that. Well, 2 of them did. Darker ornament with Christmas lights in the background. I did notice that one shop that had sold 23 in the last 24 hours, the one that said Mr. and Mrs., that ornament looked really dark, which kind of surprised me that it was doing so well. This is the one. This mock-up really surprised me because it's not stark white. It definitely looks like there's a shadow on it. So I noted that here, laying in the box or hanging. And then to summarize my inspiration, it's going to be mainly from Keepsake. It's going to feel modern, minimal, clean, boho, semi-transparent with our badges. Okay, having a sans serif font is what they were doing, so I'm going to pull from that in my own way. Nudes, white, for the colors with Christmas lights in the background, shadow behind the ornament, and making it look realistic. So you're just making notes about the inspiration and then putting together some photos with the color palette that you're going to go with and some font options. I did want a script that kind of paired well with the sans serif, so I'm basing this sans serif on their badge font and then having a script that I feel like pairs well with it. I used this inspiration to find the type of mock-ups that I wanted. And I found these from a shop on Etsy that I think they're going to crush it this year. I love that they have Photoshop document smart objects. And in a later video, I'm going to go over how to use them. I think I'm going to use the bulk mock-up tool this year. This is their shop, Spotted Dane Mock-ups. And then go to their ornaments. This is where I got mine at. So once you start going in a direction in terms of your inspiration, just make sure that your mock-ups, they feel cohesive. They don't feel like they're from different creators or they have different vibes per se. Then I'm determining if I want to use this darker color or just sticking with the blue throughout. And I use the fonts that I chose and then I disperse them throughout all of my mock-up photos. I think it is nice when you compare 2 different fonts for your titles or even having just a script. And I like to put a shadow behind white on a darker background. I think it makes it pop, even more so than doing the lift effect. So for this, I went to effects and I added like a dark blue behind it. I did that on a lot of these. What appeals to me the most is a darker badge that has light text on it. I feel like it pops at the customer more. And I also have a shadow behind this text to make it pop. And I put a little white outline around that as well. I'm sure you've noticed, but with Etsy cropping in a different way, they could definitely go back to the other format. But just in case, what I did was I went to Etsy and I screenshot one of these mock-ups so that I could get the dimensions. I put it in here and then I added a shape on top of it to create my own template. I then downloaded it and re-uploaded it so that I can move it like this and it wouldn't change on the sides. And so now I'm going to lay that over the top and just put it in the middle, make sure that my badge is inside of that. And like I said, I think Etsy will go back to the other way, but just in case, I just want to make sure that my badge is inside of that area. And so if I put it over here, you'll see that. You can still see the text if they do crop our photos to that. And my photo templates are 4,000 by 3,000. I feel like it does give you more room to work with, especially if you're going to do half photo, half information. I also think it's important that you have your logo throughout just so that it looks branded and professional. It doesn't need to be visible inside of that crop, but that's what this is right here, and it's dispersed throughout. I really hope that this training has equipped you with how to make your own photo templates that you are so confident in. And stick around for the next video where we are going to be talking about planning in your sprint list, and I'm going to create a planning Canva doc for you that you can download and use.